And we are underway, an AFC South matchup between the Colts and the Jags. And Grant will just take a knee, so that means that Blake Bortles will begin. Also keep an eye on Keelan Cole, who's on the near side, number 84. Here is Ivory, who goes over a block of his right guard, gains 4 on the play. Colts showing blitz from the outside. Bortles passes complete to Lee, and Lee breaks one tackle, but then is eventually taken down. And Tony was helped off the field. TJ Yeldon checks in the backfield. Bortles to throw on third down. Pass is complete to Hearns on the near sideline, and he's got the first down.
Completion at a key time early in the game.
Colts showing blitz from the near side. The handoff to Yeldon, and Yeldon spins away over the block of the right tackle. Antonio Morrison with the tackle after a gain of 5.
For your attitude.
Doug Marrone said that to us yesterday, is to just get Blake Bortles off to a good start, not get him hit, and he will be effective the rest of the game as Yeldon gets just shy of the first down marker. Hannon, he's the lead man ahead of Chris Ivory. And Ivory will take the handoff. Not a lot of room, but he's able to slip forward, and he's got a first down. And a flag comes in very late on the far side.
Personal foul. Grabbing the helmet opening by the defense, number 44. The 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So big penalty. It moves the ball back to the 30, up to the 37-yard line. Off the play fake, Bortles to throw. Lewis with 2 hands grabs it beautifully. He's into the open field inside the 15 before he's tripped up. But there is a flag sitting at the 37-yard line.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 51 defense. That penalty's declined, resulting in the play, first down.
All right, so John Simon called for the penalty. Keelan Cole, 84, and Hearns, 88 on the near side. The handoff to Ivory, running hard over the block of his left guard. He is met immediately with an ankle injury, their left tackle. Off the play fake, Bortles under pressure, trying to run away, throws on the run, pass is complete to Lee, who dives forward as the ball goes out of bounds inside the end zone, but they're going to say he was out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Hand there.
I would say no, he took 2 steps. It's too hard to call that.
Here's Ivory bouncing his way to the goal line, and he stopped just short. Chris Reed is an eligible receiver as a lineman. High formation, Bortles off the play fake, will throw. He's got Lewis, and he overthrows him. With Ivory in the backfield, that's Koyak in motion. Ivory takes the handoff and goes right into the end zone, standing up, and the Jaguars are on the board first. It's 6-0. First drive of the game.
That's 6-minute drive, 6+ minute drive.
Here's Lambeau for the point after his first kick as a Jag, and he makes it 7-0. Dancing, they like the fact they have a 7-0 lead. Marlon Mack is back deep to receive with Quan Bray, and Bray will take it deep in the end zone and just take a knee.
As well.
There's Jack Doyle in motion behind the line of scrimmage on first down. Frank Gore is going to get a lot of carries today. Barry Church wraps him up after a gain of 7.
We'll go a long way in solving that.
Second down and 3. It's Gore again, and Gore sidewinds his way before Miles Jack takes him down for a first down up to the 39, and a late flag comes in.
3 seconds after the
play. After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 17 of the offense. That foul occurred after the making of the first down. We'll penalize 15 yards, and it'll still be 1st and 10.
Switch spots on the far side. Brissett to throw. Here comes the pressure. He can run. He'll tuck it and slide. And he got a couple of yards.
And no, it's nothing. It's not a big play. It's not a vicious play. But that's the rule.
Second down and 8. Here's Gore again. And Gore leans up toward the 30. Miles Jack makes the tackle.
I think it's opened up a whole new world for this defense.
Third down and 5. Brissett looking to throw. Pressure's coming from Fowler. The pass incomplete as he steps up in the pocket intended for T.Y. Hilton. Max McCaffrey was let go by the Jags. Most likely will be back. But that punt was nearly blocked. That was Ben who nearly blocked it, and a fair catch called close to the 30-yard line.
Total defense, 410 yards again. They just got to step up.
Off the play fake, Bortles to throw. Bortles going long, middle of the field, and it's caught at the 26-yard line. Keelan Cole. Doug Marrone tried to tell us yesterday that he was going to. So on first down from the 18, the handoff to Ivory, and Ivory over the block of his left guard. Bostic makes the tackle. He is being taken a look at as we speak. On second down, Bortles to throw. Bortles can run as well, and he slides down to the 10-yard line. A flag comes in before the slide.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 28. That penalty will be added at the end of the run. 5 yards. First down.
Looking for Lewis. Little height advantage. Goes high in the air, and he grabs it, and it's a touchdown, Jacksonville.
Going to try to make some plays in the passing game. Mercedes lose a huge height advantage on the outside.
5'11" against 6'6", yeah.
5'11" against 6'6". That's a matchup that they were obviously expecting, and they saw it, and great job identifying by Blake Bortles and put a ball up there where only Mercedes Lewis could come down with it.
That set up that score.
And again, Marone and Bortles both identified him as the guy they were going to try to take some shots with.
So the Colts will get it back. Marlon Mack, Quan Bray back deep to receive as Lambeau bounces this one on the turf, and Bray comes speeding up and takes it across the 20-yard line. And he's taken up to the 23-yard line. All game, but he's stretched out to the far side. Out of the gun is Brissett looking for T.Y. Hilton, throws it low, and Hilton's able to grab it. A catch in his 85th game. And here's Marlon Mack. Mack has a first down before Telvin Smith takes him down.
This guy can provide for us against Jacksonville.
A little bit of movement on the right side of the Colts offensive line.
False start. Number 73 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Draft these days, and I think they're going for other positions, pass rushers, quarterbacks, and the like.
Quick pass to Marlon Mack, and Mack is hit behind the line of scrimmage by Telvin Smith. He kind of blew up Kamar Aiken, and the clock is down under 5. Handoff goes to Gore, who's slowed by Telvin Smith, and then cleaned up by Deshaun Gibson after a gain of 2. Are all in at the same time for the Jaguars on third down. Brissett to throw. Chester Rogers has it, and he has a first down. Practice. Gain of 15 on first down. Here's Gore. Gore slips inside the 40. Telvin Smith, Miles Jack make the tackle. Brissett in the ACC. He was telling his teammates, he said, this guy is the real deal. He said, I thought he was the best quarterback in the ACC. As Mack doesn't gain anything.
The hunt, Jacoby Brissett, he's helping him as much as he possibly can.
Brissett from the gun on third down. Pitches a little bit to the outside. Here comes the pressure. He is wrapped up and taken down. Malik Jackson was there first. Miles Jack was there second. Sanchez on to punt the ball away. Nickens calls for the fair catch. It'll be around the 8-yard line.
We didn't just build it right now. No.
Break. All right.
The handoff goes to Ivory, and he's stood up by Antonio Morrison. It'll be a gain of 1. Second down and 9 off the play fake. Bortles looking to throw. Pumps a few times, then dumps it off to Koyak. And Koyak is down at the 17. It'll be third down and 2. That's Cole in motion. And the pass comes to the near side for Cole, and Cole will have the first down before he's shouldered out of bounds by Nate Hairston. And TJ Yeldon. It'll be a short game. Leonard Fournette. TJ Yeldon stumbles to his left. And Vontae Davis is able to eventually stop him about a yard shy of a first down.
The rest of the season, I think it's a smart move by Jacksonville. Obviously, it looks like it is now.
Blake Bortles will keep it himself, but take his big body forward for first down to the 40.
Ball on first, second down.
Corey Grant checks in for the first time. And he'll take the handoff on the read option. And he'll move the pile north to about the 45-yard line. Marcus Hunt makes the tackle for the Colts. Little bunch formation to the right. They set up the screen. Corey Grant with a one-handed grab, and he's got blockers. Inside Colts territory, and he's going to be taken down close to the 26-yard line by Malik Hooker. Lewis right side of the offensive line. Now the pitch comes to Lee. He's going to throw it. He was looking for Bortles. Now he looks for the end zone. Incomplete. Cole went inside. The pass went outside. John Simon is checked out of the game. He's sitting on the bench for the Colts defensively. Remember, he's been nursing a sore shoulder. And Ivory inside the 25, down close to the 24. Henry Anderson makes the tackle. 7. Bortles to throw, sets up looking long toward the end zone for Lee, and he can't hang on.
Very good coverage on that play for sure.
Here's Josh Lambo, his first field goal attempt as a Jaguar, and it is good. 17-0 Jacksonville as kickoff. And Bray, 3 yards deep, he's going to come out. Figure he's got to ignite something for this Colts team. But he stopped short of the 20-yard line. They have to sustain drives. Now, most of that conversation was about the second half. Off the play fake, Brissett to throw to the near side. He's got Aiken. And Aiken out of bounds. That's Rodgers in motion. Here's Gore. And Gore bounces his way, maybe a yard. You got 2 tight ends on the left side. It's going to go to Gore, and Gore lowers his shoulder, and he is pushed back.
Wow. And Jacksonville adjusted accordingly. You try to run it up right up in there. Tough to do.
Mickens back deep to receive. He calls for the fair catch, and a flag comes in. A lot of traffic.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Number 22 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Coach.
On first down, Blake Bortles hands the ball off to Ivory. And Ivory, with a flag coming in, gained a couple of yards.
They got a whole picture.
Holding offense, number 40. 10-yard penalty, correction, half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
You look at those pictures.
Bortles off the play fake. Pressure's coming. He's hit as he throws, and his pass is incomplete. Vontae Davis nearly intercepted it. Well, this is a big play, not only for Jacksonville, but maybe more so for the Colts. And they hand it off to T.J. Yeldon, who gets up to the 20-yard line. 3rd down and 8. Bortles sets up in the pocket. Pass is complete to Allen Hurns, and he breaks away inside Jacksonville territory and along the sidelines, but he's out of bounds. They'll mark him at the 29-yard line.
Today.
Off the play fake to Yeldon. Bortles rolls away. Throws on the run, has Lee. And Lee breaks a tackle and is shoved out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Day's game. Here's Ivory up the middle. And keeping his legs moving for a gain of 2 on the play. 2nd down. Ivory in the backfield off the play fake. Bortles rolls the pocket. He's looking for his tight end, and he overthrows O'Shaughnessy. At least a field goal if you're the Colts. Bortles has time. Hit as he throws. Pass is complete to Lee. A flag is in, and Lee is into the end zone.
Pass interference, offense, number 11. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
You're not going to show the Super Bowl ring again, are you? There's Marquise Lee. Bortles, middle of the field, has T.J. Yeldon. And Yeldon stopped at the 15, so they've at least held them to a field goal attempt. Here's Lambo for a 33-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold, and he is 2 for 2 in field goals. It's 20-0.
Going into that locker room at halftime.
And don't forget the Colts' numbers in the second half are not good offensively, as the kickoff will send Bray 9 yards back and he'll let it go out of the back of the end zone.
It's going to come down to, I think, tight ends and running backs making plays.
Trips to the far side. Brissett setting up Marlon Mack, and Mack is able to avoid Telvin Smith, and he runs out of bounds. Smith did not get to him, and the clock stops. 1:51 to play, first half. Brissett from the gun again to the middle of the field, nearly intercepted. Barry Church had it and then dropped it. It was intended for Doyle. Opportunities. That's Doyle in motion. And Brissett, he can run for it. Doyle with a block. Brissett will get out of bounds. And that's smart. To get for Vinatieri to have some success. Here comes the pressure. Brissett tries to break away. Throws it away as he's going down. It'll be incomplete. That's Rodgers in motion on 2nd down. Brissett dumps it off to Mack, who can't hang on. He needs to get to the 46 and beyond for first down. He's got time. Pumps once, now he's in trouble, and he is, well, as Ngakoue was wrapping him up, he throws it away.
Throws the ball away, and a complete failure of a first half to this point for the Indianapolis Colts.
Mickens back deep to receive. He calls for the fair catch at the 14.
We're going to try and make some safe throws, see if you can get some points.
Already 277 yards of total offense. And there's Allen Hurns, and Hurns is shouldered down at the 34.
That gives them the confidence now. They're going to open it up and try and...
Oh, we got some movement.
You're going to open it up and try and get this ball down there. That play right there sets the tone for this entire drive.
That was a gain of 20 yards. They're now at 297 for the half.
False start. Number 78 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
The backfield. Off the play fake. Bortles under pressure. Ball is tipped, but it's caught by Lee, and then he sprints into the open field. He's inside Colts territory and inside field goal range. The most yards this season in a game, and it's only the first half. On first down, they dump it off, and Ben can't hang on. Second down and 10, he's going for the end zone, and it's incomplete. His receiver, Hurns, got tied up. It's to play. Clock stopped after the incomplete pass. Bortles, and he's hit from behind. The ball is loose, and it's picked up by the Colts. Henry Anderson is the one who knocked it loose. Darius Butler picks it up and runs forward. It bounces again.
Fumble. The ball was coming loose before the arm started going forward. Right? Bam, there.
Yeah.
Well, they've reviewed it, and they've gotten a thumbs up. It is indeed a fumble.
10 seconds now. We've got to get the ball past the 35-yard line.
3 timeouts left for the Colts. Brissett in trouble, and he slides down. And now you got to use a timeout. Totals of 50 yards or more over the last 2 games. Second down and long. Brissett, he's under pressure, and he is going to go down finally. And Ngakoue was the first one there again. And this time, the veteran Calais Campbell came to help out.
Game like this, it could not look worse for the Indianapolis team.
Juan Bray will come running up, fielded a yard deep. Trying to find some daylight. He got a block or 2. He's across the 30 and up across the 35. Off return. Gore is back in there. Gore had a good first quarter, but they obviously went away from him as he breaks a few tackles and then rumbles up to the 42. Second down, Brissett from the gun. He's 5 of 10 passing so far. Has plenty of time, zips it left side, and Moncrief is out of bounds. Oh, even more so, down 20-0. There's Hilton, who's been kind of quiet. Brissett looking for him, and he can't hang on. Broken up by Jalen Ramsey. T.Y. Hilton has 1 catch for 10 yards today. Mickens back deep to receive. And he called for the fair catch, and he is running well. On first down, that's Lewis in motion. The handoff goes to Grant, and he runs to his right and is out of bounds at the 9-yard 9-yard gain by T.J. Green.
But now they're going to have to piece together their running game. They've done a nice job of it.
Handoff goes to Ivory, running to the edge. Pursuit is there, taken down by Bostic, and a flag comes in late.
Chirping.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Number 57. The defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Yeah, don't forget to check it out of this play.
Bortles doesn't know it.
Yep, he just looked at it and realized it. Handoff goes to Grant. And Grant gets maybe a yard, if that.
57! Sunday!
Ivory the handoff. And Anderson can't wrap him up behind, and he goes out of bounds after a positive gain. Turnover. And a bad decision by Blake Bortles. Bortles to throw on third down. Here comes that pressure. They dump it off to the middle, and T.J. Yeldon has a first down. He fumbled the ball. It's picked up by the Colts, and it all depends on whether he's down or not.
Yeldon's going to come out trying to he's got this first down. And there, I don't know if his knee touched right back there or not. His right knee looked like it might have been down right there. If his knee is down, he's still got the football.
After review, the ruling on the field is changed. The runner is down with possession of the ball at the 47-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Jacksonville.
Jags, it'll be first down for the 47. Here's Lee in motion. And the handoff goes to Ivory right up the middle inside the 45, and he fumbled it. The Colts say they've got it again, and the officials say it again.
This is the only way this game is going to get away from Jacksonville, is to start turning it over. They've done it virtually twice in 2 consecutive plays. They got one back.
Look at Farley rip that ball out of there.
It's a great play.
Get out of there.
Give me that.
Brissett to throw, middle of the field. Doyle has it and hangs on. Let's go to Jay.
Hard. I didn't look that fast, though.
On second down, here's Gore. Little misdirection, has the first down inside the 45.
I think the process is as smooth as it needs to be for Brissett yet.
Off the play fake, trying to buy some time. He's hit. He keeps the football. That is Dante Fowler.
Down and convert. They got to stay on the field here.
See if they go to Doyle, who's lined up on the left side of the offensive line. And the pass is out of the hands of Marlon Mack, incomplete. Get it to field goal range.
Gotcha.
Pressure's coming. Miles Jack comes running in and knocks Brissett inside the 45-yard line.
Wow, that was a train wreck back there then. Jacoby, man, oh man, that hurts as a quarterback.
Well, that's 4 quarterback sacks today for Jacksonville. And Sanchez gets the punt off. Minkins calls for the fair catch inside the 10. Inside the 10. Off the play fake. Bortles hit as he throws. Bohannon, though, is able to pick it up out of the air. But he's out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
80.
Blitz coming from the outside. Handoff goes to Ivory, going to the outside. Morrison, Markevius Mingo make the tackle.
Got scared off by that.
Off the play fake, Bortles to throw. He's looking to the near side for Lee. One-handed attempt, he can't come up with it. Bortles on 3rd down and 10. Steps up to the pocket, to the middle, he's got a first down. Hearns comes sprinting underneath and out of bounds, close to the 40. Bortles over 300 yards passing, the 5th time this year the Colts have allowed a 300-yard passer. And Yeldon gains a couple. Hankins makes the tackle. 2nd down and 8.
380.
Here's Yeldon. TJ Yeldon into the open field. He may go untouched from here on in. Inside the 10. Dives to the pylon. Touchdown, Jacksonville. 58 yards.
All too familiar to the Indianapolis Colts. Big runs in the second half. They've given them up on a consistent basis. It's been one of the reasons they've struggled in second half of games. They've given up big plays, and it's because in this case, they had a bad run fit. Nobody could get off a block, and they let the running back burst through right at the line of scrimmage, and nobody was there.
Yeldon, who hasn't been active during the course of this season, active today because of the injury to Fournette. They said that he has continued to grow up. Fournette out with a sprained ankle, but they haven't missed a beat. That ball goes out of the end zone. Chance to meet the players, meeting T.Y. Hilton, his favorite player. Here's Marlon Mack dancing around, gain of 1. Let's go to New York for an update with JB. That's nasty. You talk to Joe Thomas. I mean, he's a guy that gives you information and tells some great stories.
An amazing record.
Yeah, it really is. There's Doyle lowering the shoulder into A.J. Boye.
Putting your quarterback in there now at risk.
First down. Brissett going for it all for Moncrief, and he overthrows him.
Hold the football, you're going to pay the price.
Under 5 minutes to play. Church was coming on a blitz. That's Bray on the far side.
Corners are tough, but you've got to give him more options, and you've got to get the ball out of his hands.
He'll throw again on first down. Pumps once. Now dumps it off to Marlon Mack. He hangs on. There is a flag down. Mack is into the open field. Inside the 25 and knocked out of bounds at the 15. Going to go against Jacksonville.
Prior to the pass. He'll use the hands to the face. Number 56 of the defense. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is first down.
Well, that's enough.
One of the more positive things that's happened today for Indianapolis. From the 14, Brissett to throw again, and he's not going to get that one off. Dante Fowler was the first one there. It is sack number 5 for the Jags. Second down at 17. Aiken, who's running the wrong way.
That's ridiculous.
And he's going to be taken down at the 21-yard line by Telvin Smith.
It's easy completion for another 10, 12 yards.
Now a third down. Pressure's coming again. Brissett's going to run inside the 10-yard line and tripped up shy of the first down. Side. Play clock is down to 3. And he's going to keep it himself, and I don't know if that's the quarterback keeper he wants. And they're going to stop him shy of the first down.
Green 80! Green is shot!
There's Ivory. And Ivory over the block of his left guard. All right, let's go down to the fourth. Net, the second leading rusher in the National Football League, out with a sprained ankle. Bortles rolling the pocket, asking for somebody to come back, and now he goes out of bounds. That he has played. Ivory is going to be pulled back, and that will end the quarter. As we begin the fourth quarter here in Indianapolis. The ball is nearly blocked, but it turns out to be a heck of a punt. And Bray on the sidelines grabs it at the 25.
You got to work on both skill sets.
That's Doyle in motion. 459 yards of offense for the Jags. Brissett's in trouble again, and he's going to go down again. That's 6 sacks for the Jags.
Yeah, you see there, he dropped back looking to his right. He had a quick slant to his left. Couldn't find it.
Dancing around in the pocket again. Here comes some flags, and he loses the football forward. It'll be an incomplete pass, according to Jeff Triplett.
There's no foul on the play. It's third down.
I mean, Brissett.
Get anything out of it.
And here comes the challenge flag by Doug Marrone.
Yeah, because it was recovery back around the 10-yard line.
Yeah, good pickup there, Task. Yeah, this isn't that the Jags want the football back. They just want to push them back.
Yeah, but watch Brissett as he comes back.
Yeah,
and Jackson backhands that ball out of his hands. It looked funky when it happened, but from up here in the booth, we didn't have that good a view as we do right there.
Of an incomplete pass.
Now it's gonna be recovered.
I think Costanzo recovered it, didn't he?
Right around the 10-yard line.
After review, the ruling on the field has changed. The quarterback had lost the ball in his hand when it was going forward, so therefore it is a fumble. It was recovered by Indianapolis at the 12-yard line. It'll still be third down.
23, Max out of the backfield now in motion. And Brissett fires to the right side and incomplete.
Defensively.
Sanchez on the punt. Mickens will run over to the near side of the field and just let this one bounce. It takes a Colts bounce initially and then is stopped at the 30.
Still, Sunday, shut!
High formation, here's Ivory. And Ivory bounces his way across the 35. Grover Stewart.
Get inside.
On second down and 4. And Grant doesn't go anywhere. That is a beautiful play by Grover Stewart, the rookie from Albany State. Right on. I mean, he was so comfortable in that first half.
Hey, check it!
On third down and 10, little slant to Hearns. And Hearns will be shy of the first down by about a half yard. Now here's Nortman to punt. This is only his second punt. And Bray calls for the fair catch at the 15.
These are lessons you don't really want to learn by experience, but unfortunately today that's the case.
Here's Doyle at the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 5.
He's going to play. They want him to be in there taking reps and getting into this offense.
And he wants to play too. Here's Moncrief on the near side, and Moncrief out of bounds. Closest to us. On first down from the 28. Handoff goes to Mack, and Mack to the 35, a gain of 7. Step drop.
They want it to be a definite intention of Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, to speed things up, but also they want Andrew Luck's time clock to go off as well. Organization.
First down for the 40. Brissett by the ankles. He is spun down.
Golden Day able to get home.
Officially, it's 8 sacks for the Jags. Ball is batted at the line of scrimmage. Moncrief is to the near side for the Colts. Brissett in the pocket, zips it to the outside for T.Y. Hilton. He's got it. It's a first down. Coming to the backfield on first down from the 49. They dump it off to Mack. A little bit of a screen and not much there.
Receiver or tight end, you got to catch the football for a living. You got to have a guy that's pulling the trigger and has time to throw it.
Miles Jack wraps up Jack Doyle after he makes the reception shy of the 40. Mack goes in motion to the outside. There's Doyle, first down, out of bounds at the 35 to Sean Gibson. Ferguson in for the first time. He was just activated for today's ball game. Brissett dancing in the pocket. He's in trouble. He goes down and loses the football. They say he was down. Calais Campbell with the sack. That is number 9 on the day for the Jags.
Got to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. He's making it harder on himself.
Campbell with 10 sacks. It's already a career high. What did he tell us yesterday? He said,
what a great guy he is, though, too. Just his overall presence is so comforting.
On third down, Brissett going to the end zone for T.Y. Hilton, and it's incomplete. 6:30 to play here in the fourth quarter. 5 guys coming in for the Jags. Here comes the blitz. Brissett's in a little bit of trouble. Dumps it off for Doyle. Doyle has a long way to go for a first down, and he can't get it. No, Bortles is going to try to run out this clock if he can with his offense. Ooh, Alan Hearns drops that one.
What game? Don't play these guys.
By the way, Alan Hearns just limped off the field after dropping that last pass. Here's Yeldon, and Yeldon is over 100 yards with that scamper right there. Inside Indianapolis territory.
Sunday, sir!
Corey Grant. Good stiff arm. Out of bounds close to the 40. Of total offense.
Great way to go into the bye week. Kind of win, in control of your division.
Well, there you go. Over 500 yards of total offense on that run by Chris Ivory.
A quarterback that doesn't know enough of the offense to make adjustments. So they've got a lot of things they're fighting against.
Here's Grant. He has nothing going. He'll lose yards on that one.
The football, and having Fournette out there makes it easier, but they're obviously very effective running the ball with Ivory and Yeldon as well today.
Ivory took a heck of a hit by Morrison in the backfield and maybe got a yard, so it'll be third down and long.
Office, but this baby's about to be delivered.
Here's Yeldon running right inside the 30 and now inside the 25. He's close to a first down. Third down and a yard. Minkins is in as well. The handoff goes to Bohannon, and Bohannon hurdles over.
Looks pretty close. I don't know if they got it. They look like they had to get across.
Well, the officials are signaling Colts ball.
Like this.
Well, considering you're at Cincinnati next week, you're at Houston, then you're against Pittsburgh before the bye. This will take us to the 2-minute warning as Ferguson runs. Yeah.
Colts fans.
Second down and 5 with 1:59 to play. And Brissett will throw and incomplete. That was to consecutive games without being shut out. There is another active streak ahead of them, the Broncos. Brissett to Moncrief. Moncrief slips one tackle, and he nearly slipped another one, but Thompson was able to wrap him up by the ankles. Peyton Thompson.
Right there, that was almost a missed tackle and a touchdown for Moncrief.
Brissett, 19 of 32, 198 yards. Pumps once, rolls to the left, still rolling, and dragged down from behind.
Some points on the board and save a little self-respect. But this is all deep. This is safe defense.
Brissett to the middle of the field, and Daniels, the rookie from Washington, is wrapped up by Miles Jack. He gets a first down. That's going to be even more time to get that ankle better. But look what they've done today without him. Brissett's pass to Rodgers is complete inside the 35. Ramsey with the tackle.
Right.
Yeah.
Throwing is not going to hurt it.
On second down, Brissett lets it fly as he's hit toward the end zone, and it's incomplete. Boye had it, but he was out of the back of the zone.
Especially the day after, it feels even better.
The day after, or maybe 2 days after. That's Daniels, incomplete. Miles Jack breaks it up.
What do you do?
Fourth down. Brissett to the near side. It's complete, but he's going to be shy of the first down. Boye came in and hit Quan Bray.
Jacksonville, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then they got to win. So,
well, that's it. The Jacksonville Jaguars have come in and dominated the Indianapolis Colts 27-0.